Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. I'll bet early, so I think you guys are used to that. So anyone want to take a guess at the music I had going when you came in? Why I might have chosen to have that playing? I actually had two thoughts in mind. Well, the reason I chose it actually, besides to wake you up, is that I like the song. But I also think that if you really listen to the words, to me, they resonate about education and entrepreneurship. And just a couple of phrases here. Maybe you're a reason why all the doors are closed, so you could open one that leads you to the perfect road, right? Like a lightning bolt, your heart will blow, and when it's time, you'll know, because baby, you're a firework. Come on, show them what you're worth. So, entrepreneurship. Why do people become entrepreneurs? Get rich? That's what most people say, that someone becomes an entrepreneur to make money. And it's false. People do not become entrepreneurs just to make money. And if that's your only reason for doing it, I will almost guarantee you, you will fail. It is about passion. It's about feeling that you see a need that needs to be filled and you can do it and you can make the world a better place. So that goes back to what she's saying. Come on, show them what you're worth. So you're all studying entrepreneurship. So you might be thinking, gee, someday I think I want to be an entrepreneur. Most of the students at Hiram taking entrepreneurship courses, maybe electing the entrepreneurship minor that we offer, they have this thought. Not too many high school or college students are thinking, as soon as I finish school, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. You know, most think, well, I need to go get a job, get some experience, figure out what my passion is, and then I'll be an entrepreneur. So then you're thinking, I think one day I want to be an entrepreneur. I probably need an idea. Where can I find this idea? Well, let me tell you a story about some students at Hiram College. So we have Forrest, Brendan, Brian, and Mike. Students at Hiram. I know Forrest is an accounting major. I think Brendan is either an English or creative writing major. Brian might be environmental studies. I'm not so sure about Mike. But in June, they launched their product, 7th Symphony Sauce. And the way they got started was about a year before this, they took a managerial accounting class. So anyone here take any accounting courses? Okay, well, what's accounting about? Come on. It's about the numbers, right? Finance, numbers. Sometimes we joke and call accountants bean counters, right? So what does a managerial accounting class have to do with being inspired to be an entrepreneur? Well, the professor who teaches that course likes to bring real-world experiences into the classroom for the students to work with. And so at one point in time when he offered this class, the class worked on a project at Hiram. We have an inn, a 12-room, like 1800s inn that the college runs, and they went and looked at the inn and their practices and what they do, and the students had to think about what they could improve to make the inn more profitable. Okay, so that was one example. The year that these young men took the class, he asked the class to think of ideas of their own and that they might start a business around and crunch the numbers to see how it could be profitable. So they did, this was the Forrest's mom's home recipe that Forrest loves this sauce. And he brought it in and he had his friends taste it, and his friends loved that sauce. And he had an idea. He thought, whew, that light bulb went off. And he thought, I love it. They love it. If I could get a lot of people to taste it, they might love it. This might be doable. Okay, so they crunched some numbers. They did their research. They found a filler. That's someone who you take your food product to, something like this sauce or a mustard or whatever you might be making, and they blow up the recipe so they can make big quantities, and they bottle it for you and put the labels on, all of your choosing. They are now in, I think, 11 stores in the Cleveland area, about another 11 stores in Columbus. They are in a Piggly Wiggly in Myrtle Beach. Okay, I don't know how they got that one. And their sauce is now being on the menu at 2 area restaurants. So they've launched a business. And they, I think, are juniors. No, sophomores. Sophomores, 1 senior. And they've launched a business. And they're going at it. So let me talk just real briefly about Hiram College. So it's a private, co-educational, liberal arts school, college. So what does that mean, liberal arts? We focus, it usually means a big focus on undergraduates. We have about 1,300 traditional and weekend college students and a few graduate students in our master's program. But we're really focused on undergraduate, and our core curriculum really focuses on, is very broad. It's a broad education base. Very important, I think, for people thinking about being an entrepreneur, because, you know, not all entrepreneurs are business majors. Okay, so we'll take the classic example, Steve Jobs. Technically, he's a bad example, as is Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, because what do they have in common? What didn't they do? Left. They didn't graduate from college or university. Yeah, so bad example. But all the same, they weren't business oriented, were they? They all happened to be in the tech sector. And actually, some might argue, you know, look at Steve Jobs' career. He got boosted out of Apple, I think, twice, and brought back. And he was boosted out because the stockholders didn't like how his business orientation. He was the vision, he was the passion, he was the idea guy for the products, but he really didn't, you know, business-wise, they weren't so sure about his handling that part as CEO and president of Apple. So we have a pretty diverse student group. Students come from over 26 states in the country. We get a lot of students from the West Coast, actually. And over 23 countries. We have 30 majors, including a Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and 36 minors. We have the Hiram Plan. We have a very unique semester system where most semesters, even Ohio State now is on the semester system where it's 15 weeks per semester. Ours are actually 12 weeks plus 3 weeks in the fall, then the holiday break, and then 12 weeks plus 3 weeks in the spring semester. And in the 12-week, you take a full course load like normal, and then there's a quick break, and then in the 3-week, you take only 1 course of your choosing, and it's very intensive. That's the only thing you focus on in the 3 weeks. A lot of our faculty choose to do courses that they do study abroad with. So you'll go with your usually 2 faculty members on an interdisciplinary topic and go somewhere. It could be Guatemala, it could be the Galapagos Islands, it could be Bhutan, it could be London, it could be Spain. And that usually happens in the 3 weeks. So we have this unique semester structure. As I said, an extensive study abroad program. We now have an honors program, and then we have our 7 centers of distinction, of which the Center for Integrated Entrepreneurship is one of them. So let me talk really quickly about, you don't need to read all that. Here's the important thing. The way we approach entrepreneurship, our mission, our goal, our vision is that every student, all 1,300 on Hiram's campus, at some point in time will be able to learn about, hear about, experience, practice, participate in, minor in, whatever, entrepreneurship, no matter what your major is. If you are a biology major, if you're an education major, if you are a history major, if you're a religion major, there's a course you could take almost in any discipline that has entrepreneurship integrated into it. So that is our goal. So I try to do a schematic of what our program looks like. So here we have the academic program that has the minor, and then we have courses across all disciplines that faculty have developed where they integrate the concepts of entrepreneurship into it. And then the center provides a lot of the extracurricular activities and connections that students can get involved in. So let me talk quickly about the minor. There's 3 core courses. So the first course is called the Entrepreneurial Mindset. So it's getting you to think like an entrepreneur. And we focus really heavily on creativity and innovation. So how many of you might be artists or musicians or, I see 1, 2, okay. How many of you think you're creative? Okay, that's good. That's good, because a lot of people say, I'm not creative because I didn't sing Katy Perry because I would just be embarrassing myself, okay? I do play an instrument, but I can't sing. But a lot of people think, I don't sing, I don't draw, I'm not creative. Well, you have to learn how to think creatively. And there's so many different ways to be creative. And so the mindset helps you learn how to dig deeper into yourself and think creatively and think about innovation. Then the entrepreneurial process takes you through how to take an idea or a concept, how to research it, how to look at it in different ways. Because a lot of times for an entrepreneur, their first idea and what they end up taking to market is never exactly the same. There's a term that gets used, you might have heard it, called pivot. You might have to pivot your idea 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different times until you get it all to come together, okay? So who your market is, what your business model is, if you're producing something, or your channels of distribution, you may be pivoting that idea. It's never the same. So the entrepreneurial process really helps you think about how to take that idea, grow it, do what you need to do to it, and how to take it to market. Then integrative entrepreneurship, the 3rd course. I love this course. Our faculty member, Dave Kukurza, just recently redesigned that course. He's getting ready to teach it for the 2nd time, actually tomorrow in the 3-week. He designed it to be offered in a 3-week. He takes the students, you're out of the classroom. You leave the classroom, you spend the entire 3 weeks at the Shaker Launch House in Shaker Heights, which is a startup business incubator accelerator. And you get teamed up with entrepreneurs who have startup companies there, and you become part of their team. And we really want you to take ownership and learn what it's like to be an entrepreneur and to develop an idea. And you help this entrepreneur on various projects he might be working on, whatever avenue it might be for his course. And then you make reports to this entrepreneur. And we had some students who really knocked the socks off of one entrepreneur last time this was offered and actually got him a couple customers. They went out and talked to people and got customers for him. And they were really part of the game, okay, part of the team. And then a couple of our students actually got internship opportunities over the summer at the launch house because of the people that they met there. So it was a great networking opportunity. And then you pick 2 electives that complement your major. And our faculty at Hiram, our liberal arts faculty, have developed over 30 courses across all different disciplines that integrate entrepreneurship. And it's anything from, let's see, it's called Bibles, Ballots, and Bodies. It's a history course, okay? So Bibles, back in the early time of the westward hoe of developing the United States, right? Preachers were out selling religion, right? And then ballots, politicians were entrepreneurs because they were selling themselves, but buying your vote, right? And then that age-old, probably the first entrepreneurial endeavor, bodies, prostitution, okay? So that was one of the earliest entrepreneurial endeavors. And he looks at it from a historical viewpoint of the development of the United States. There's a computer database course that integrates. There's an intro to biology course where the students learn all about the microbes of the gut. And then one of the class projects is you have to, from what you learn, you have to do more research, and you have to come up with an idea that you're going to pitch in a rocket pitch at the end of the semester. And then they pick the top winners. So even from the science angle, you learn some things about entrepreneurship. Then you cap it off. You get to choose one of these three. You can do a business plan practicum with your own idea. It's an independent study. You can do a summer internship. We can help you find that through our network. Or you can do an internship on campus with our student-run ventures that I'll get to in a moment. So again, here's the center. It supports and provides extracurricular activities, interactions, and you don't have to be an entrepreneurship minor to get involved with the center. Anyone can. So fireside chats. This has been one of our signature program. It's open to the public. Students, faculty, staff, people in the community come to this. It's on Wednesday evenings during the 12-week semesters from 7 to about 9. Or students can take it as a class for 2 credits. And we bring in about 9 to 10 entrepreneurs every week. I mean, 1 per week. Bring in a total of 9 to 10. And they come and tell their entrepreneurial journey. And so they tell you the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, you know, what they did wrong, what they wish they knew, who they connected with, who they networked with, their perspective. Students find it really very interesting. I tell students it's not only a good way to learn about entrepreneurship, it's a good way to learn how to network. It's a good way to do career exploration because it's amazing because somebody might be producing a gluten-free food product. We had an entrepreneur who came in and she was a corporate lawyer, okay? But her family had a great need for gluten-free food and couldn't find anything that fit the bill, and she ended up creating a business out of it. So that's Fireside Chats. Student-run ventures that I mentioned. So we have several. We have the Terrier Bakery, the Olive Branch, which is a fair trade and eco-friendly store. We have the Hiram Genomics store. And we have a new one starting up, which is Art with Heart. So the Art with Heart, they're doing silkscreen printing, and they're going to do T-shirts, they're going to do artwork, they're going to do stationery, they're going to do note cards, variety of different things. And what we hope to be coming in next fall is a space in our student center that will be the student-run venture storefront. So these three, the bakery, the Olive Branch, and Art with Heart, will be able to sell all their products not only to students and faculty and staff on campus, but we'll open it up to the broader community. The Hiram Genomics store is run by Professor Brad Goodner. He's a biology professor interested in genomics. And what this kit is, his market is actually high school teachers. And they can buy a customized kit that they bring into their classroom for their students to use to learn more about genomics. So his market's a little different. It's not retail. I want to talk a little bit about the Terrier Bakery because it is quite interesting in that the fact that it's an opportunity for students as first-year students to come in and get involved in entrepreneurship. And at Hiram, all first-year students take a colloquium in the fall 12-week and a seminar in the spring 12-week. And a colloquium and a seminar, by definition, generally have a broad topic base. So you're not coming in and studying just science, or you're not coming in and it's not just history. It's a much broader topic, very interdisciplinary. So French professor Ella Kirk came up with this idea. I got her to drink the Kool-Aid, and she had this entrepreneurial bug. She always wanted to own her own bakery. She loves all things French, including French bakery, and she wanted to start a bakery. And so what she did, student-run ventures are college-owned, faculty champion, so she's my faculty champion, curriculum connected, and I'm going to tell you about her 2 classes, and then they're student run. So she offers the art of making dough, which is the fall colloquium where you learn about the history of bread, bread in different cultures, the science of making bread, so see that interdisciplinary connection there, as well as the business of making and selling bread. And then the spring course is called Transforming Dough into a Life of Sweet Success. And they do things like blogging about food, writing about food, creating new recipes, a lot more writing involved in it. So the bakery right now is being run by first-year college students at Hiram. And it's very popular on campus, and the people out in the broader community can't wait till we open up it more to other folks. So idea competitions. We have 2 idea competitions that we sponsor each year, Idea Blitz in the fall and Idea Build in the spring. And the difference between the 2 is Idea Blitz is a concept pitch. So you have a general, just an idea. And you have to do some thinking about it, and you're going to come in, and we bring judges in, and you can, first prize starts at $500, I think second was $300, and third was $200 or $250. We had 12 entrants just a couple weeks ago for this. Get a pretty good turnout. You can enter as an individual, you can enter as a team of up to 5 students. And then in the spring for Build, what we ask you to do now, you don't have to be in Blitz to do Build, it's just you have to take your idea a little further. And so in Build, you have to take it through a feasibility analysis. So you're going to do a bit more in-depth research of your idea, your concept, talk more about your market, your financials, things like that. Again, you pitch to a group of outside judges, and then the prizes are a bit larger for the winners of that. And if you win in Idea Build, and you're eligible, then you go on to represent Hiram at a regional competition, and that's sponsored by the EEC, the Entrepreneurship Education Consortium, of which Hiram is one of 10 schools in Northeast Ohio that are in the consortium. So, and actually, Reed Wakefield from Ashland that you heard of, he's a member. Julie Messing from Kent State is a member. Case Western, Akron, Cleveland State, Lake Erie College, John Carroll, Baldwin Wallace. Mount Union is our newest member that is just joining us right now. So EEC has 2 events. One is Idea Labs, and our student Jennifer Godwin took first place in 2010, the first year we participated. Her idea, Future Without Flares, which was based on an illness that she has and how to fill a need. And she won $5,000 at that competition. And then the other event that the EEC puts on is called Entrepreneurship Immersion Week. And that's usually the first week in August. We will actually be hosting it this August at Hiram. And each member school from the consortium brings a team of 5 students and their faculty member. And you spend 24/7 from a Sunday to a Friday, immersed in entrepreneurship, and at the end, you pitch an idea, your team pitches an idea, and again, the first year we participated, we took them by storm. We won Idea Labs, we won Immersion Week. They were wondering why they let Hiram into the consortium. We've been a little dry since then, but hey, you can't always have the winning idea. We have a learning community. Our center is actually located in the first floor of East Hall. This is a 102-bed residence hall that is suite-style living, so a little different than the normal dorm rooms. So you live in a suite with a living area, a kitchenette area, and a variety of bedrooms, and there are singles and doubles. You live in a suite with 6 to 8 students in there. Freshmen cannot get into suite-style living, but as a sophomore, if you have an interest in entrepreneurship, you can jump to the head of the line and apply first. This just shows they do a number of things. Here we were hosting an event with entrepreneurship students from Kent State. Then they reciprocated, and we came back to hear one of their speakers. We brought the Extreme Entrepreneurship Tour to our campus. This was one of our first years. You might not have remembered this. You're probably in middle school. We have this, James A. Garfield was a student at Hiram and later came back to be president of Hiram. And we got this statue, and the statue had just been erected, and somebody knocked the head off and stole the head. It was all over the news and went all the way around the world that the head was stolen. So some very entrepreneurial students in our learning community made t-shirts that said, "Get Ahead at Hiram College." They sold like wildfire. We've just started a student club. I should say the students have just started a student club. It's a CEO club. That's a big national group. We'll be a chapter of that. They meet Sunday nights. They pitch ideas. They have access to this classroom here. This is a little dark, but the back wall of the classroom is a giant whiteboard. It's painted with this special paint, and you can ideate to your heart's content about things. And they were ideating and then put a team together and they pitched an idea in our Idea Blitz competition. Internships. So internships, if you do the minor, you can cap it off by doing an internship, but we help students find internships whether they're entrepreneurship minors or not. So these are some of the places that our students have done internships with. So Neuros Medical is an entrepreneurial startup that's been funded by BioEnterprise, Jumpstart. They've gotten some grants from the government. For the last 3 years, they've taken our students. They happen to be science students. Catacell is working in the fuel cell industry. They're just the town over from us. Polyflow is working on a system to liquefy all these plastic bottles, right? It's a big environmental problem. So they can reduce this down and get the polymer stuff out of it. They call it sort of like a liquid gold. And it can either be turned into more plastic products or it can be turned into like a diesel or kerosene fuel. McKinsey Creamery, they make goat cheese. Actually, she's won a lot of awards, very popular. We have an artist on campus who does art restoration. We've had students do internships with her. The Olive Branch, which is our fair trade store. Thirsty Dog Brewery in Akron. Kind of a neat story about that was that I met the owner, John Nayway. We were talking. I said, so how do you recycle like all your waste in that? Because that's a big thing, you know, the whole green thing. He said, well, I have a pig farmer who comes in and collects all the spent grain from the process and he feeds it to his pigs. He goes, but I've had this idea. You know, I'm Thirsty Dog, and his, you know, you're too young, but if you go into a bar and they're serving Thirsty Dog on tap, it's a dog bone. He goes, so I had this idea of taking the spent grain and turning it into dog biscuits, because the only thing missing out of that spent grain is sugar, and dogs don't need sugar any more than we need sugar. So there's nothing, it still has other good stuff in it. He goes, I just don't have the time. And I said, John, that would be a great internship opportunity for a Hiram entrepreneurship student. And so one of our students spent the summer working there, developing dog biscuits made out of spent grain from the brewing process. So pretty interesting. So some of our student businesses, I already talked about 7th Symphony. The Game Emporium, a student who's now a graduate between her junior and senior year, she had taken that managerial accounting class. And she was looking at how to, if it would be profitable to put video games and other gaming equipment in our student center, either by leasing them, purchasing them, and then students would pay to play them. She's a big gamer, and there's a lot of her friends were big gamers, and they didn't like the idea that they had to drive an hour to an hour and a half to go do gaming anywhere. Well, she took all that information that she gathered from taking that course, and she opened in Garrettsville the Game Emporium. And she finished her senior year, and she's still operating and doing quite well with the Game Emporium. Sweet Abandon is a nonprofit that was started by a student that helps orphans in the Ukraine. And then Monza Studios and the Ravenna Project. We have a group of students who, you might not know about Ravenna. It's the county seat of Portage County where Hiram is located. And they're developing several businesses to go in on Main Street and Chestnut all around the arts. So they're developing an arts district which will then spur economic development in Ravenna and draw more people. And so Monza Studios is about to open. It's 2 students who are seniors right now. They're about to graduate. It's an analog recording studio. Analog is back. A lot of people like analog over digital because of the warmth and everything of the sound. And they're hoping to capitalize on the big band scene in Kent, Ravenna area. And then we have another student who's putting in, it's called RAM, Ravenna Arts Mosaic. It'll be a dinner theater, music theater with some food available and a microbrewery inside. So some exciting things. Hiram students are having economic impact on a town, a city here in Northeast Ohio. We have a large, extensive network. Hence, we can find those internship opportunities, or if you have an idea and you need to talk to somebody who has more experience in that field, we have a vast network. So we're members, we're partnered with Jumpstart. John Dearborn, who I think just spoke this week, is on our advisory council. The Youngstown Business Incubator, which focuses a lot on tech. Jim Kostler's on our group. I mentioned Launch House, Tech Hudson, the EEC I mentioned, and then the Regional Economic Growth Corporation, formerly Kent Regional Business Alliance, has actually now opened a satellite office at our campus. So they are not only serving other people in the community and consulting them on how to start businesses, but they are also working with students to further their ideas. So what should I do to be ready? We're back to that question. What should I do to be ready? Well, here's my simple suggestions, and it is develop your entrepreneurial mind, okay? Get creative, look for opportunity. That's a #1 skill that to be a successful entrepreneur. Even in bad economic times, there's always an opportunity. And find something you are passionate about and explore it. So with that, thank you.